Hey guys. So the whole time I was reading this book, I thought that it was an actual conversation, and then I got to the end and they were talking about implanting brains into a body that's not even yours, and I was thinking, wow, I can't believe scientists can do that now. That's crazy. And and then she dies at the end, and she never was really convinced with anything. Her friends tried to convince her that her identity lives on, and I don't. She was never convinced, and I thought that was sad. But then I watched the videos and I realized that it wasn't. None of it was real. So anyway, for the for the first question for the second night, I think she's fully aware that our brains as well as our bodies deteriorate when we die. For example, on page 32, she talks about the idea that God could duplicate her brain in her body when her her brain and body deteriorate and she goes to heaven, and she thinks that yeah, her brain does die, so she would need a duplicate brain. I think if she didn't recognize that our brains are part of our physical bodies, she wouldn't be saying that. She would say that God needs to create a a new body for our immaterial brain. And for two, I looked online. It said a definition of conceptual analysis states that it is the activity of attempting to clarify the meanings of concepts or ideas by employing logical devices. So, by that definition, I suppose that there are different real world scenarios of identity in the book would be considered conceptual analysis. One example in the book would be how they discuss how a river is still the same river if you're at a different point in the river. Like if you're miles away from the starting point and it's polluted in that area but clean at the starting point, it's still the same river, and it still keeps flowing, and no matter what point you are at the river, it's still the same river. If even if the water is different or the climate is different at another point, and an out an outside of the book example of conceptual analysis, I think would be, say if two philosophers were discussing if a tree falls outside and nobody hears it, would it still be a sound? I think questions like that are when philosophers are discussing things like that. I think that's what conceptual analysis is. And for chapter 3, for the first question to consider, I read that the courts have ruled on abortion as a privacy right and a liberty claim. The court has not addressed the issue of abortion in terms of moral or philosophical questions, of murdering the unborn versus a woman's right to control her own body. I I read that they didn't really look at it from a moral aspect, but more as a legal aspect of the right to privacy in the 14th Amendment. And for two, um, from a Christian standpoint, I believe that everybody has a soul, and I think that you is not your physical body, but your soul within your body, if that makes sense. And I think your identity does survive even when your whole body deteriorates, because I think that your soul is your identity. And I think when you die, your your soul, it you still have your soul, and your soul lives on. But in light to what the philosophers talk about in the book, I agree with their points about identity. For example, um, properly acquired memory, anticipation, continuity, and singularity. All those descriptions make sense to me. For example, you can't have memories that are fictional. Like if I if I thought that I was a goldfish a couple years ago and told everybody that I used to be a goldfish, that doesn't make it true. I was never a goldfish. That's not possible. You have to have memories that actually pertain to your life. that are actually real. I couldn't I couldn't say that I used to be Obama, like when I wasn't Obama, and and you have to have anticipation of events that are pertaining to your life. Like you can't anticipate having a speech tomorrow when you're not even having a speech tomorrow. Like if you can't anticipate something from somebody else's life. That doesn't make sense. And continuity, you have to continue being yourself, continue having the same identity. Like I said before, I can't be turn into Barack Obama one day and then be myself another day. That doesn't make sense. And singularity, yeah, I wouldn't really have an identity if there were 4 or 5 Ashleys. So that doesn't make sense at all. If there were multiple me's, like I hope there's not, but so yeah, I thought these 2 chapters were interesting, and I look forward to learning more about philosophy. Thanks for watching.